Hey guys, welcome back to the episode of the Megan and Mo. I'm Megan.
I knew that was good. You just said it so naturally. You want to be me, don't you?
Shut up. Anyway, thanks for joining us for another episode of Megan and Mo.
Wait, like you redoing it over.
I'm not doing it over. I'm just...
He's Mo and I'm Megan. Jeez, get it together.
Well, I would like to thank you for joining us for another episode. In this episode, what are we talking about?
Today's episode, we're going to talk about dating and the cultural challenges that we experienced.
For those of you who don't know, I'm African. I was born and raised in West Africa. I came to the U.S. when I was 17 years old. She was born
and I'm African American.
She was born and raised here in the Bronx, on Gun Hill Road.
He always says, apparently Gun Hill Road is the only road he knows about in the Bronx, okay?
That's not good.
That must hold some significance to him.
No. Anyway.
He was telling that before I met him.
Anyway, let's get right into it, shall we?
Sure.
Cultural differences. It is monumental in our relationship. No, seriously. Especially in the beginning. Well, it still is there. But especially in the beginning.
It was not monumental, okay?
Yes, it was. It was glaring. I'll give you an example.
Go ahead, shoot.
Remember when you were going on about, why haven't I met your family?
Okay, hold on. That's a two-part story, why they meet your family. So I wouldn't call it technically a cultural difference. But go ahead, roll with it. Go ahead.
Don't hit the table. You're moving the camera.
I'm sorry.
A big part of it was. So I grew up in a society where next, right? That's basically what it is. Next, like, okay, when something happens, right? And I don't know, something happened to you bad or on the verge of being bad or whatever, Unfortunately, because of the reality of where I grew up, there's no time to whine or complain about. And maybe whine is not the right word, but to complain about it and go on about it, it's like, okay, it's like this. That's your reality, or that's what's happening to you. So what, right? Figure it out and move on. Because you know why? Because somebody else got worse, got it worse. What?
That doesn't go with what we're talking about here.
Yes, it does.
No, we're talking about the reason why I never met your parents. What does that have to do with whining and complaining? Stick to the topic.
No, but you said, it wasn't that, so I went to...
No, the question, the topic was why I never met your parents.
No.
I'm saying the cultural challenge.
No.
Yes, you're saying...
The topic is...
I know what the topic is.
Right,
I know what the topic is. And I said that I didn't feel like there was a big issue. And you said, yes, there was. Remember, like, the time that you complained about not meeting my parents. You said your family, parents' family. So you're saying that there's a cultural difference.
Well, okay,
so what was the cultural difference? In your culture, you don't meet your parents?
No, it's not that.
Okay, so get to that. That was the point.
So if I'm going to pick that one specifically, right? I know here the idea is, when you're dating somebody for some amount of time, then, like they would, like you would say, my friends would say, or my mother said, girl, if he's not serious if he hasn't introduced you to his family. Don't come here playing that.
So move for the steps, please. That's why I never met his parents. They would have told me not to have a baby by him.
But for me personally, the way I grew up, I feel like it's my relationship, right? That's my business. I've always felt like when you go to introduce.
So was that a cultural thing, or was that because of the dynamics of your family relationship that you felt it was none of their business who you were dating?
Well, it's partially a cultural thing, because usually in a lot of African culture, usually when you do the meeting thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time it's close, like the relationship is always I guess so far, they're already so far into it, right? It's not the same thing where it's okay, we did it for 2 months, I introduced you to my parents, right? it's really not like that.
So over there, you've already been in a relationship, and then
Yeah.
you decide to, hey,
like
this is who
to
I've
be
been
honest with
dating.
you, there's rarely any formal, because here it's almost like a formal meet and greet, right? Like, let's set up dinner. You're gonna meet him. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's always something, right? It's something. It's like a setup, like almost like an event, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up that way. When I grew up, it's not really that big of a deal, right? I feel like for you it was important because you kept talking about it, and I was like, so that's the cultural difference in that one.
What, in meeting your parents?
My parents, my family.
Yes, your family. Okay, so let me stop him right there because I think he's getting a bit sidetracked.
No, I'm not.
He's missing a couple of points why I wanted to meet his family. One was when I brought up the point about meeting your family. For me, it was okay. He seems pretty attached to his family. Excuse me, I've been drinking. Not attached, but he seems like he has a good relationship from what I could see at that point in time with his family. So why wouldn't he introduce me to his family? Two, I wanted to be introduced to your family because it was like, all right, you're seeing me, you're sleeping with me, you're spending a lot of time with me, you're at my apartment. How come I have not met your people, or how come you haven't felt the need to introduce me as your girlfriend to your family? What are you hiding? Third, and this goes to the actual cultural challenge, is that there are some Africans who look at African Americans through a stereotypical lens and therefore may not want their children or siblings or whichever dating African Americans. So on the back end, that's what I thought was occurring, as well as, oh, you're hiding something. I thought your people must have some type of aversion to me being Western, African American, and not white.
Okay. Well, first of all, if that was the case, so for me, if you know anything about me, is I move in the singular lane. So that wouldn't matter to me if what you're saying, maybe they don't, they may feel about African American or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying? That wouldn't be a factor because I never cared what anybody thought.
Yeah, you didn't necessarily care.
And I felt like, and part of that whole thing was that it always feels to me that I'm seeking approval. That meeting thing. That's what ever since I was a kid, it always felt like that to me. I think that's the premise. And I don't like it.
My mother and my father approve of this person I'm about to enter a relationship with. What do they think of him? Is he good? Is it a good choice? Bad choice?
I don't like it. It's none of their business. Like if I'm, it's like any decision that I make, right? And then I think we're going off subject here again.
Cultural challenges. So what other cultural challenges did we face in our relationship? Dating. Did we come across and it was like, you know what? He's too, okay, yeah. Remember, when you and I first started dating, right? A lot of people kept telling me, oh, watch out for those African men. Be careful of them African men. They like to be in control, and they can get aggressive and abusive when you don't, He had his tendencies where I'd be like, man, this dude is controlling I don't know what.
But that's because I'm a Virgo.
But I also think it's because you had major insecurities. And so you masked your insecurities through your frustration and anger. Go ahead.
Through my frustration and anger.
No, not true. Not true. No, I'm not saying.
African men are angry.
No. But okay, listen. We gonna. There's a part in here that's gonna be edited out that happened before he came back to the table. Okay, if he would keep it in there, you'll see how angry he can get. Yeah.
No, how angry I can get.
Yes. Okay. So and you.
What?
No. Time out. No. It's not a stereotype when it comes to you.
What?
You don't have a calm button. On most things, you flip. Just remember every time your folks should have a discussion with you. That was always he's so angry, man. Talk to him. Yeah. This is why his folks would always have sit downs with me versus him, because African men so angry.
African men not so angry.
Nah, he lying right now.
So I go from 0 to 100. Yes, but wait. That's after, right? Okay, it's like there are some like
I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy down.
Those stupid meetings, right?
Like all ambush.
About let's meet him on Friday and tell him what to do. That you know what I'm saying? Like those things anger me. It pisses me off. Like it is. If I'm making a life decision, right? That's my business. And if I don't ask for your advice, I don't want it.
So those are the only instances where you feel like, Africans are angry.
That's why I get pissed off. So I don't even want to show up because nothing was gonna take place. No talking will take place because you're not gonna talk to me. You're trying to tell me what to do, and I'm like, no, I'm a grown man. I tell you what I want to do.
Okay, so I digress. African men not so angry. Okay, African men angry for reasons.
But wait. The other important part is when you were saying that, what people used to tell you about, watch out for that or whatever, right? Right, that turned out to be completely not true. It turned out to be completely not true when it comes to me, right?
African man, well domesticated.
Get your hands off of me.
African man, well domesticated. No, and listen, no disrespect to my African American brothers, okay? I got love for y'all, all right? But I'm gonna tell you right now, you ain't washing clothes by hand, you ain't cooking, scrubbing, and cleaning floors by hand like this African man. Shut up!
Guys, you too loud. In the playroom, I said.
African man was nice and calm right then and there. African American woman became angry black. All right, but no disrespect, but African man good on that part. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I've come across many African American women who have said African men are good lovers and they will treat you like a queen. I must admit to you right now. This man has loved me through every childbirth, through every fat roll, back roll, extra belly pudge, wash my clothes by hand, wash my underwear by hand, okay? Scrub my floors on his hands and knees, cooked, cleaned, washed all the kids. I barely lift a finger on some days. So I will say that hasn't been a cultural challenge. That's been a cultural
discovery.
Not a discovery, but a cultural present in a sense. Like, ooh, look at me, I lucked up. Like, if I would have believed any of the things that they had said about dating an African man, like if I would have let the fact that at times you did come off as controlling and aggressive get to me, I probably would have missed out on a lot of the other good things that are admirable about you. So that takes me back to something that he used to say in our relationship. He used to get mad at me and be like, the good should outweigh the bad. And me, I'd be like, bullshit. What do you mean the good should outweigh the bad? No, the good and the bad go hand in hand. But in this case, had I let the bad, typical westernized view, right? You bad, you angry, you aggressive, you got these tendencies. Ooh, girl, run. If I would have let the bad outweigh the good, I wouldn't be here today. If I would have listened to any of the things that people had to say about dating an African man, and watch out, girl, he's controlling. Ooh, he might have an extra green card. He might be marrying you for a green card. He might have a wife somewhere and some kids in Africa. You don't know. If I would have let any of those things get to me, I'd probably be miserable right now. Like, real talk. Real miserable. And like I said, I ain't trying to knock nobody else, but had I listened to any of the things that African Americans were saying to me about dating an African man, because yes, you'll come across a lot of African, girl, I ain't dating no African, ooh girl, trust me, if I'd have listened, I'd have been real messed up right now. I'd have been trying to meet Marquand on the corner of Gates Avenue for some diaper money, right?
Right. We didn't have much money just in the beginning, but we were eating rice, right, for like a whole week. You know what I mean? Sometimes if I give the kids rice Monday and Tuesday, rice again. You know what I mean? That sense of, oh, we're supposed to, you know what I mean? Is it food?
We have 30,000 other things at our disposal in the U.S. to eat. Why do we have to eat rice?
Is it food? Is it well made? And you should be thankful for that. It's
and
well
it fills your
seasoned.
stomach.
It says, are you full? Right. Which is why I told you, like, we would, like it was like that when I grew up. We'd take one thing, like corn, and make, like, literally 10 different meals out of it. That tastes different. But it's, you know what I mean? And I can, you know, all that creativity came out of that, you know, all that stuff is dead now. You know, and that's a huge difference in, you know, the way I grew up.
I wouldn't say it's dead, but again, I feel like if we were to go to Benin right now, I feel like I'm gonna still see people eating that way because to them it's eating. It's not a poor thing. It's food, right? Over here, because we have so much at our disposal as far as food, it's like, well, I shouldn't have to have rice today. I should be able to have a burger. I shouldn't have to have rice today. I should be able to go have some Chinese food.
Remember what I told you about? There was no sense of breakfast when I grew up. Breakfast was whatever's available.
Right. Like I feel like if somebody had to operate the way you grew up, it would be like, oh, we struggling, man. We didn't even get to have no pancake and eggs this morning. We had to have last night's dinner for breakfast. Like, what type of shit is that? Like, it would be, you know, that was a struggle meal. But we, like, you tell me, like, sometimes, right, you'll have Gary, right? And you'll eat Gary with the water and peanuts, right, as a meal, right? Then you eat Gary with beans, right? Then you eat Gary. Did we have Gary with the tomato sauce and something else?
And tomato sauce.
Right.
And season it a little bit, yeah.
Right. We'll have it with the tomato sauce.
I mean, I cook it with hot water.
So that's 3 different ways we didn't have Gary. And that may be 3 different meals. So you'll have Gary with some meat and tomato sauce. That's 4 different meals. But guess what? He's eating, and he's fine with eating like that.
The way I look at it, the way we look at it is, what are you trying to accomplish by eating? Right? You want something that tastes good, right? Obviously.
Is it nourishment or is it entertainment for your taste buds?
Exactly. So for us, it's, you know how you be like, man, I feel like some wings right now. You know what I mean?
But that's because we live here, right? We live here where it's, you know, either I can run to the store and go get it, or I can get it from 10,000 other places within my city. But if I live there, my choices for wings may be limited.
And I think people don't realize this, but this is the reason why the times where we'll struggle, right, where we don't have much, we can literally have whatever we have, and we can, you know, I can make up like different food out of it. You know, we can have, this is what we have in the refrigerator. We can eat for a month without a problem. You know what I mean?
And we've done it before.
So those qualities are important. Like, I feel like when people struggle like that, they just be like, okay, so let me just go to Walmart and get the milk rice, like different flavors, you know. I don't need all that, you know. Anyway, I think we're gonna have to cut this short because this is like a 40-minute
But the last thing that I wanted to say that has been like the turnaround for me is looking at it from that perspective rather than from my perspective of abuse and neglect, right? It's not necessarily neglect that's all we're eating is beans. My kids are fed, right? My kids are not going hungry. They got food in the bottom of their belly.
And that's the end result.
Right. And so I think over time, the biggest cultural challenge for me was, again, beginning to view things not from an area of wants, but an area of, like, I don't want to say like necessity in a sense, right? But my needs are met. You know what I mean? My needs are met in an overall sense of the way, right? Even down to the food as a challenge, to dating as a challenge, right? My needs got met.
Yeah.
Getting over that hurdle of us having cultural differences, as far as thoughts and parenting. My needs are met. My children have a father in their life who's been there. He's never left. He's been consistent as their father. He's worked. He's provided for them. My needs are met. My children's needs are met, down to the food. My needs are met. My children's needs are met. May not be what they want, but it's what they need.
And that's the bottom line. You need to define that. You need to define what your needs are. And are they being met? You're hungry. Are you eating? That's it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what we eat. It doesn't matter. Are you eating? Okay, that's all that matters. You know? But yeah, close out the show because I can't close it out.
So I'm going to close it out by saying that it was a challenge at first, us getting together, because culturally we were raised differently. You know, we grew up differently. Although at the underlying core of it, we kind of grew up similar in a sense. But I was basing my view of the relationship on the things that I grew up without due to my circumstances, while he was basing his views on the relationship based on the way he grew up, and that was clashing, and sometimes it didn't make a wonderful mix, but in the end it worked out for the best. Right? I think that's,
yeah, you did. It worked out for the best, you know. As always, yeah, say that part. I can't say it.
As always, he can't speak right now because he done yelled at the kids. As always, what happened?
That's not why I'm sick.
Oh, he's sick. Sorry. As always, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Right, subscribe to our page. Like, comment in the comment boxes below if you have any topic that you want us to discuss, or anything you want to say privately in regards to our topics, or us, the way we dress, the way we look. Send us an email at Megan and Mo, MEAGHANNMO @gmail.com. It's at the end of the video, not in the description. Thanks. You've been saying it at home. Okay, I'll put it in the description. It's at the end of the video, but it'll also be in the description. Again, meganmo@gmail.com. And we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. We're going to be checking out for the rest of the evening. Peace.